The President. Government bills. First reading. Tobacco Control Legislation Amendment Bill 2025. Trade Union Amendment Bill 2025. Second reading. Secretary for Health. President. I move the second reading of the Tobacco Control Legislation Amendment Bill 2025. For implementing the new phase of tobacco control measures. Everyone knows that smoking is harmful to our health, and health is our greatest wealth. It is evident that smoking is harmful to both our health and wealth. The underlying public health implications go far beyond the individual level. The various smoking-induced diseases such as cancer, stroke, cardiac arrest imposes a heavy burden on society as a whole. It is estimated that economic loss resulting from tobacco-induced or induced health problems is about 8.2 billion Hong Kong dollars per year. Yet, there are still 9.1%, approximately 580,000 daily smokers in Hong Kong. We are already facing the multiple challenges of an aging population, increasing number of chronic disease patients, and rising healthcare costs, which will be further aggravated if the health problems caused by smoking are added to the healthcare system. The tobacco industry has been using misleading marketing tactics to change the image of lethal tobacco products, such as launching alternative smoking products, ASPs, and flavored cigarettes, as an attempt to downplay the hazards of tobacco products and attract more young people, especially young people, to become smokers to make up for the loss of customers who have passed away as a result of smoking or who have given up smoking. Such a business model is, in fact, an attempt to make profits by overdrawing people's health, wealth, and even lives. Tobacco control is like rowing a boat against the current. If we don't make progress, we will fall behind. In the public consultation on tobacco control strategies launched in 2023, over 90% of the citizens expressed support to further reducing smoking prevalence. In the face of the harmful effects of tobacco and the evolving infiltration strategies of the industry, there is consensus in the community that we should take initiative to introduce tobacco control measures that are targeted and forward-looking, or else the decades of tobacco control efforts in Hong Kong will ultimately go down the drain. The Health Bureau announced its overall tobacco control strategy in June last year, setting out short, medium, and long-term measures. The bill seeks to provide the legal basis for the 8 of the 10 short-term tobacco control measures. Meanwhile, the other 2 short-term measures, namely continuously reviewing the effectiveness of increasing tobacco duty and the pace of future adjustment, and strengthening smoking cessation services as well as publicity and education, do not involve legislative amendments. The government will step up efforts to combat illicit cigarettes. Strategically, this will ensure that our other tobacco control measures, including tobacco duty and the ban of flavored cigarettes, will have its greatest impact. We propose to introduce a duty stamp system to enable frontline officers of the CNED to distinguish duty-paid cigarettes from duty-not-paid cigarettes more effectively and to combat cheap whites in the market. The system will be rolled out on a pilot basis in around third quarter of 2025 for full implementation in the second quarter of 2027. Separately, to step up efforts in combating illicit tobacco activities at the syndicate and traveler level, we propose to increase the maximum penalty for offenses relating to duty-not-paid cigarettes to a fine of $2 million and imprisonment of 7 years, as well as to increase the penalty compoundable for bringing tobacco and other dutiable commodities into Hong Kong without proper declaration to $5,000. We also propose that cigarettes sold at a price below tobacco duty should be required to prove that they are duty paid. The proposals will take effect immediately upon gazettal of the amendment ordinance. Another focus of the new phase of tobacco control measures is to prevent the new generation from smoking. ASPs are now becoming increasingly popular around the world. They are replacing conventional cigarettes that have fallen out of favor. These products have created a new generation of smokers, especially young people and women, with a new look. Many of them are outrageously designed to look like toys. "3 years ago today, 30th of April 2022, marks an important milestone in Hong Kong's tobacco control efforts. In this very chamber, we passed the legislation to prohibit the import and sale of ASPs in Hong Kong. This reflects a broad consensus in the community to ban ASPs and to eliminate any legal access to these products. Over the past 3 years, there is no legal means to obtain ASPs. However, unfortunately, despite the ban being implemented for 3 years, there are still young people who are exposed to ASPs or e-cigarettes. They sometimes use these ASPs to take space oil drug. Who offer these ASPs to our younger generation? In light of this, the government proposes to ban the possession of ASP substances in public places from 30th of April 2026 to curb the use of ASP to combat the use of these products to intake drugs or harmful substances as source. We may consider further measures if necessary, such as banning possession of vaping devices. Flavored cigarettes are also a tactic used by tobacco companies to lure the new generation into smoking. Flavorings disguise the harshness of tobacco smoke, which turn these products into some sort of sugar-coated poison. Surveys show that the prevalence of flavored cigarettes is higher among young people, and close to 70% smoked flavored cigarettes when they first smoked. We propose to ban the sale of conventional smoking products with specified additives only after the full implementation of the duty stamp system, that is around the second quarter of 2027, and to ban the sale of non-menthol flavored cigarettes in the first phase and extend the ban to all flavored cigarettes at a later stage. Tobacco companies have been making use of packaging design to manipulate consumers' assessment of product risk and to distract them from the health warning. To counteract this type of promotional tactics, we propose to require all tobacco products to adopt plain packaging with uniform design, which is expected to be implemented in the second quarter of 2027 in tandem with the duty stamp system. To prevent underage persons from accessing smoking products, the government proposes to prohibit the provision of conventional smoking products and ASPs to persons aged below 18 starting from the 1st of January 2026. Secondhand smoke is hazardous to our health. To protect children, the elderly, and persons with disabilities, areas that are public places and that lie within 3 meters from the outer edge of doorways or gateways to premises such as childcare centers, schools, residential care homes, and hospitals are proposed to be designated as no smoking areas, NSAs. We target to change the social norms by legislating for prohibition of smoking while queuing to board public transport carriers and queuing to enter venues that are regularly patronized by the general public, such as stadiums and museums. In addition, there has been no adjustment to the fixed penalty level for smoking offense since 2009. That is since 16 years ago. We propose to increase the penalty to $3,000, which will take effect on the 1st of January 2026. There were suggestions to step up tobacco control in areas with high pedestrian flow, including by prohibiting the act of smoking while walking to further reduce the public's exposure to secondhand smoke. Having regards to the enforcement effectiveness, we suggest to designate certain areas as NSAs. This will allow greater flexibility for the government to designate a large area as NSA after taking into consideration factors such as pedestrian flow in the locality, the seriousness of secondhand smoke, views of the community and the relevant district council, and feasibility and need for designating exempted area. Individuals within the NSA will not be allowed to smoke regardless of whether they are walking or otherwise. President, the tobacco control measures proposed by us have been proving effective in science and overseas, as well as there is broad consensus in the society. We have considered different views. The whole series of measures will allow us to win back the health of Hong Kong people without losing out on economy. The for smokers. For non-smokers, they are subject to second-hand smoke. Smokers will only obtain freedom by quitting smoking. I hope that members will support the bill. I will submit. Thank you.
佢嘅待議議題係
I now propose the question to you that the aforesaid bill be read the second time. In accordance with the rules of procedure, the second reading debate is adjourned and the bill is referred to the House Committee.
勞工及
Secretary for Labour and Welfare. President, I move